Look where I'm standing right here. It's my foot. Over there is the curb cut. Right here is curb, curb, curb. I'm standing here. This is to give you an example of how way people drive here. Because I'm standing here, I had a guy that was afraid to come in. He was afraid to take the right in. Because that guy was in the way. I'm not. I'm on the fucking sidewalk. But I was just thinking about the same thing. Like, people here think the sidewalk is part of the road. Like, I had this, I think it was in a video. I think I got it in the video. There's a situation over by my house. There always is with traffic. Because everybody double parks and the workers take up so much. But anyway, the street was all clogged. Someone was trying to go the wrong way. I'm over on the sidewalk. Usually at most major cities or most anywhere, when you're on the sidewalk, it's like whatever's going on in the street ain't got nothing to do with me. But it does here. One of the guys in a worker truck is like, he was like waving me off, like, come on dude, move, because he needs to be on the sidewalk. And like I get angry for like a second, and then I think you can't get mad at them. They don't know any better. So I just go into the street, dodge cars, just so he can drive on the sidewalk. And in the same way, like if they're pulling out of a space, right, or a driveway or anything, and you are on the sidewalk behind them, they'll get all nervous. Like, because you're fucking things up by being on the sidewalk. They think the sidewalk's part of the road. You know, I'm sure you've seen it here, like people, motorcycles just come driving up on the, you know. What do you do though? You can't teach people stuff like that. You can't. It's too late. You know, they're already fucking cooked. It's too late. That's how this is with a lot of people though. It's just like, you know, people talk about different social ills or confusion between people, or, you know, lack of communication, but whatever it is between races and stuff, you can never fix that stuff. It's fucking done. It's done. It was done a long time ago. You know, there's no fixing it. You know, you just have to kind of, it's like food. It's like food. You kind of just have to mitigate the fucking damage, you know. Excuse me. So let's try these guys, rubber. He's good. I have some change here. Gotta reach in. Gotta get a dollar. I should give the buskers some money. I have too many pockets, guys. Oh God, I'm sorry I called you guys. Sorry I called you guys. I'll do that. That's professional camera work, is what that is, what you're enjoying right now. Thanks, man. God bless you. God bless. Alright. Had to wait for it to focus there. Yeah, he's up to here a lot. He's been around for years. He was here pre-COVID. He remembers the long ago. The yestertime. When my onboard security system got real dusty, you know, because I didn't need it. Right? The only thing you had to really watch out for pre-COVID was crazy street people. You know, I don't want to call them homeless anymore, because there's a person that lost their apartment or something because they couldn't pay the outrageously huge price tag, and they got fucked over at work or something, so they got, you know, pushed out onto the street. Is not the same thing as some of these dudes that have been walking the streets for decades and, you know, look like the Acme bomb just exploded in their face, like fucking Wile E. Coyote or something. And horrifying people. That's not the same thing. You know, in the past I designated those people as the street mutants, you know, the ones that cause problems. That's not the same thing. You know, there are homeless people out here that just became homeless because our system sucks, you know. Little doggy. The system was it was designed to collapse at some point. You know, I always make the connection to the 311 was inside job thing. Those things were built specifically to come down. You know, that's why they had barely any floors in them. They were largely empty. Just they looked like regular buildings, but there was nothing inside them except for, you know, you had the E-team. They had their floor, the Israeli art students that seemed to know exactly what was going on all the time because, you know, they're put in there. And yeah, it was designed to fall. People have this idea that the country was built by these rebels from the UK who wanted their own life. No, it was set up as a fucking money laundering satellite state of what would become Israel. You know, as Charles Carroll pointed out, Israel, you have three fucking powerful gods. You got Isis for the Is, Ra, brother Ra, and Elohim for the L. Israel, it's real. They're trying to create something out of nothing that doesn't belong here, and they're evoking the power of these gods to help. It's a you know, typical spellcraft. You know, if you've been watching me for a while, some of the stuff is probably starting to see it easier because I'm always yelling about it. But or maybe you just see it on your own. I'd like to, you know, it'd be awesome if I could have helped someone decipher that kind of thing. That'd be great. That's like that's like what you want, right? Or what I want. But that's very it's very egocentric. You know, but it's still a nice sentiment to think that you can help. That's what we're supposed to do. Help each other, you know. Even the ones that, you know, you got to help the 95% too, even though they don't fucking, you know, appreciate it or even know how to process anything about it. You know, you still have to do it. That's the bigger thing. You get more like spirit points for helping those who will never appreciate it than helping your brothers and sisters that are in the 5% with you. Unfortunately, that's how it goes. The harder things you always get more points for. It's a white woman. It's the same one, just a different picture. It must be the one they have under contract. The token white lady. Yeah, things have really taken a reverse when it comes to that stuff. You know, I remember a time when it was like the exact opposite. Well, because the makeup of the country was very different. I mean, you know, the 80s, I never saw really anybody else of any other racial makeup background. Even until like, I think it was high school. Well, no, we had an Asian kid in the earlier years, and one black kid. In like the grades like 1 through 4, we had a kid named Sean who was black, and it was a big deal because he's like the only one. But no one made a thing out of it, you know. I say it was a big deal, but it was a big deal demographically because you just never saw, you know, anyone like that in my area. And my area was like a working class kind of area called the Merrimack Valley. Mostly Italians, almost all Italians. We're like one of the only Irish families. And they treated us very well. You know, the Italians always have a spot for them, a good spot for those people, because they went beyond and above for my family, you know. They helped out with a lot of stuff. Treated us like we were one of them. I'll never forget that. So we were lucky. But yeah, you know, we had an Asian girl that was deaf who went to my school. And it wasn't until high school where we had like a couple Latino kids. And I was in high school at the late 80s. I think 89 was like the last year I was in. I did my second junior year. And at the same time is when I also started being more active with music. I started playing nightclubs and stuff that I couldn't get into on my own, but I got to play, and I was lucky enough to join a band that was kind of already happening. So throughout my music career, if you can call it that, I never paid my dues. Like, I never did the Tuesday night fucking gig to 10 people, because after that band, I joined another one that was kind of already happening, so I got put into good situations. I was lucky. But yeah, the same year I started taking music seriously, I decided I'm not going to try again to go back to high school. It was a lose-lose proposition, because the way my high school worked, and all high schools work, and it reveals that it's not about learning at all, is that if you don't follow the rules as far as attendance, you can fail out, which I get, you know. I wouldn't show up for certain classes just because I had people that would hassle me. I knew, like, certain classes, like, oh, those guys are in there that's gonna fucking be throwing shit at me. And the teachers don't do anything, don't protect you in any way. You know, I've been chased out of fucking classes when I was a kid. It all changed once I changed. Like, I was a little pudgy, short-haired dork up until the end of my sophomore year, where I dropped all the weight over the summer and grew my hair out fucking long and dyed it bleach blonde like a fairy. But the girls loved it. So because of that, I kind of was protected. The assholes wouldn't fuck with me anymore because they didn't want to get the girls mad at them. You know, they would say things when I walked by, like, oh, Jimmy, and make fun of me and stuff. They were just jealous, you know. But, so that was all cool. But the thing is, because prior to this, I had, like, really crippling fucking, you know, anxiety about going into certain classes, which I've been assaulted in, and I knew teachers wouldn't protect me. I would stop going to that class because, yeah, eventually school got to be like that. I just skip all the time. But so at the end of the year, I'd fail because my attendance was poor. I'd often get, like, in-school suspension, which sucked. I'd rather have a regular one where I get to stay home. But whenever I'm in school suspension, they give you work to do. I would ace all my shit, like, easily, and be done, like, right away. Because the work, and I'm not, like, super smart or anything, but the work had been dumbed down so badly because I had failed out in prior years. Like, for instance, math. I never got to algebra. I never learned algebra because the first year I evaded math for the attendance. It might have been the second year. But anyway, when you fail, they put you in a lower class. I wasn't having a comprehension problem. I was having an attendance problem. But they don't care. They don't look at it. They just think, oh, you failed? Okay, we're going to put you in a dumber class. And then if you fail that out for any reason, again, for me, it was like attendance, trying to avoid the class so I wouldn't get my ass kicked. Then you get into an even dumber class. So I was doing really rudimentary mathematics. I never learned algebra. I understand the concept now, and I could probably figure it out, but, you know. It's another one of those things in school. It's like, yeah, we better learn algebra because once you get in the real world, you're going to be using it like mad. You know, you're not always going to have a calculator in your pocket at all times. They were very short-sighted. Back then. But, yeah, so I just kept getting in dumber and dumber classes. it shows that it's not a place of learning and education. What they're primarily trying to teach you is to listen to their commands. The only place you have to really petition to take a piss, really, is jail and school. When you have to raise your hand to get permission to go piss, that's people don't realize how heavy that is and what that does to you, to your mind, but the associations that creates in your head, even though if you don't, I'm not saying that's a traumatic thing at the time, you don't know, but your subconscious picks that up and it's like, oh, okay, well, and it primes you for a lot of other bullshit down the line. Extrapolate that in every direction, and then a man comes on a TV and tells you to stay in your house and you can't leave, and people fucking do it. They teach you to be a well trained slave who will listen. They're not trying to teach you to use your mind to problem solve, because they're not going to teach anyone to outsmart them, right? They're not going to, try to grow anyone that has a seed of intelligence that they can't control. So the whole thing is a scam. And people that get into it, teachers, they get into it for noble reasons. I have 3 sisters who are all school teachers. They didn't get into it to hurt kids, even though eventually that's what, happens. Not due to them, it's due to the system. Don't blame the teacher, blame the school. But, I know so they teach a little crazy and they're woke and trying to get your kid to consent to transing. But it's still the school's fault for letting those people in there and for creating an atmosphere that's conducive to that sort of behavior, or even supports it, applauds it, rewards it. The whole thing's rotten. Back when I was a kid, homeschool kids were like, oh, it's weird, you're homeschool. Nowadays, if you're a parent with any sort of idea of what the fuck's going on, why are these, you can't be going, dude, you got a light here, what the fuck, people don't care. Yeah, you have to homeschool your kids now, else the government's going to get their tentacles around them. But unfortunately for some parents, it's a daycare situation, especially the ones that need it the most, probably, that need the most homeschooling, are the ones that get the least. Whether it's like white trash parents or minority black parents or something, they're using it for a daycare, and, so those are kids that probably use it the most. But then again, there are also kids that you can't possibly teach ever, so it doesn't really matter. Went to edit some footage from this morning, and I had no end to it. I just did a couple segments and no end. I don't even know what the fuck I was talking about this morning. So I'm just gonna, I'm gonna pick up here and talk about how I just edited a video. The one where I thought I might have had a demon, and I'm kind of worried about it, because at the end of it, after the credits, when I run credits, I don't always, but I do sometimes, because you'd be surprised how many people ask me how I make these videos, and they're kind of shitty. So it's like, but the I a lot of times I'll put a little thing after the credits, a stinger, I believe you call them. And the last one I did was footage of St. Floyd in a convenience store on the day the incident happened, where he's trying to buy a banana with the fake $20 bill, which could be the most black thing I've ever heard. But anyway, it's him just in the store, like, really moving weird. He's like vibrating, kind of jumping up and down in place. It's odd. I've never seen anyone move that way before. It's almost like someone took the camera and like edited it, like stop motion. I put an effect over it though, I don't know. I was afraid of using the footage because they're weird with shit like that. And since he's like a saint and above criticism, I don't know how YouTube feels about people showing him, you know. But it's there, and so far he's been up for like a couple of hours, so no problems yet. But every time they get me, it's always because of something like that. Like something I didn't produce, like something that, like a piece of film from somewhere else, is always the thing they get me for. So I don't know, we'll see, we'll find out. It's always nice to take a chance to roll the dice. It's fucking a little bit hot out here tonight. We are in the hottest month of the year, though, for Hawaii. Traditionally, September is the hottest, I think, on record. Historically, anyway. Like, it's usually the month that's the worst, you know. And I know when I first moved here, it was the end of August, and I had never experienced anything like that before as far as the heat. It's a different kind of heat. It's not like, it's really not that bad, but it's kind of constant, you know what I mean? It's like relentless. There's nowhere to go from it, you know? But I got used to it now. It's not that big a deal, but it's still, the hottest month is still September that we're in right now. So as I'm talking about the weather, you can tell I have a lot to discuss. I was hearing about YouTube censorship, speaking of YouTube censorship, that they might be selling the platform. I haven't really been following the story, and I didn't give it much thought at the time. Sometimes it's just best to let everybody go, rather than try to be near people. I'd rather not just be near people. I give people usually a wide berth because I don't want to be near them. That's just how it is, you know. But yeah, they'll walk all over each other. Like they'll, I mean, jump on each other's backs, fucking everything. They don't give a shit. People don't care about being near each other. He was saying, do you think maybe it's because some of these countries they come from are so overcrowded, you know? Because it's all tourists here, you know? I don't know, maybe there's a little bit of that. But it just seems to be the overall lack of awareness from everybody. It's not like based on, it's not a certain group or race or part of the world that people come from. Everybody here in Waikiki, when they're in Waikiki, is just fucking retarded. A friend of mine, one of my forbidden knowledge, esoteric information friends that live here, was saying she thinks there's like some kind of spell or some kind of what word did she use? Was it charm? There's no enchantment. Fuck, what was it? I don't know. Whatever. It's not necessarily a spell, but it's something that that can be put on an area, and she feels like that may have been done to kind of pacify people, to make them spend money or something, like there's some kind of a, you know, cash component to it, which, I mean, it could be. It's also like, how you doing, man? It's also like there's a soul draining aspect to it too. When they hold you in sway, they can collect you loose better if you're not using any of your energy or your brain power. So I mean, it feels like there's something like that because it seems to affect all walks of life and all backgrounds. You know, like I said, I'll go into stores and there'll just be a dude just staring at a Pepsi on the shelf, just looking at it. Not even like he's never seen one before, but just like he's in a trance. People walk into you out here, they'll walk up your ass. So you hear me whining about that shit all the time. But it's just like this disconnect in this area. There is something different about this area, though. Like whenever I leave the environs of Waikiki, the fucking the border, when I crack the border and take the bus downtown or something, there's a different feeling. There's a different feeling. I feel safe here, though. Sometimes when I leave Waikiki, I'm a little bit more, you know, not worried, a little bit more alert. You know, I kind of watch things a little more. Going on 10 p.m. out here now, so it's we're quiet. Sunday. Mia said it's been dead over at her work, so no one there for the past couple weeks. But it's the end of the summer, so maybe something like that. It picks up again around October. Halloween night is traditionally the busiest night on the island. Has been most people. Not New Year's, not Christmas, Halloween. Biggest night here, which is, you know, makes sense because of all the fucking dark energy here. That's partly why I believe I ended up here. I was brought here, you know. And it wasn't long after I was brought here that all the shit hit the fan. You know, like what was it? Yeah, like 5 months in. All that weird stuff with me and my friend Craig started happening. I'm kind of worried about Craig. The last time I saw him was when he did those videos with me. I haven't seen him since. Now, he vanishes a lot. I lose contact with him. I don't hear from him. And he always has some kind of wild story. Whether they're true or not, I don't know. But, you know, at one time he was like crab fishing or something. He got hooked up with one of his friends to go fish somewhere. He's always like leaving the area to do whatever. But yeah, this is the longest I've gone without hearing from him. I know he's okay, alive anyway, because I found his Instagram and he posted there. He got like 100 Instagrams. Most of them I've made for him, because every time when we used to hang out a lot, when he used to live close to me, he would lock himself out of his Instagrams all the time. He couldn't remember the password. It's like, dude, just use the same password all the time. But yeah, it's unusual to not hear from him for this long. I'm sure he's okay. I don't have his phone number. I don't keep anybody's phone number because my phone has a mind of its own, and it was always calling people that I knew at like 3 in the morning. What we'll just fucking, I was talking about earlier. While I was sleeping the other night, it sent my building manager a link to my fucking folders. What the fuck was that? You know, luckily there's nothing in there that was too embarrassing. Of course there's, you know, anti-Semitic and racist memes, but, you know, that's, of course those are going to be there. Everything else, you know, there's nothing bad in there. Nothing, and that those particular people would have in there, you know, folders. Well, not so much black people, more Jewish people. Those ones who would have the blackmail for people around them. Well, it's not a great end, but it's an end. I had to finish this out somehow. I'll be back tomorrow with some interesting stuff. I mean, you know, interesting is in the eye when you hold her, as they say. But if it's not that interesting, I could at least try to make it amusing. Thanks for dropping in. Till next time, don't blame the teacher, blame the school.